This is going to be controversial, but let's go. Here's what I think everybody should agree on. The point of removing the House Speaker was to sow chaos. That's what the critics of Matt Gaetz and everybody else is saying. And my advice to the people who voted to remove him is own it. Admit it. There was no better plan of action of who's going to fill that speaker role. So was the point to sow chaos? Yes, it was. But the real question to ask, let's get to the bottom of it, is whether chaos is really such a bad thing in times such as these. When we live in a moment where we have a border crisis at our southern border, where there are tens of thousands of illegal migrants crossing per week, driving an epidemic of lawlessness across this country, are we sure that that status quo is what we want? Or is a little chaos really such a bad thing? When we have a national debt of $33 trillion and growing under the watch of Republicans and Democrats alike in power, are we sure the status quo is what we want? Or is a little chaos really such a bad thing? When we have a climate cult that shackles the United States and shackles our economy while letting our enemy China roam free, are we really sure that the status quo is what we want? Or is a little chaos such a bad thing? If we're dependent on our enemy for our modern way of life, and we have people who are bought and paid for in Washington, D.C. by special interests and a class of lobbyists and a class of super PAC puppet masters, and we keep marching to our same fate, are we really sure that chaos is such a bad thing? That's the real question. I would rather just everybody smoke that out and debate it in the open. Because do we have a plan to replace the House Speaker? No. But is that the most important question? No, it's not. We don't have a House Speaker. What's the plan to replace the Speaker? Everybody asks. Here's what I say. Who cares? Until we actually have a plan for how to address the deficit in our budget, how to address the $33 trillion in our national debt, how to actually seal our own southern border in this country, how to deal with an epidemic of crime across the United States of America, how to reduce our dependence on an enemy for our modern way of life. That's what I want to plan for. And then we're going to ask the question of who's going to be the best babysitter to shepherd a bunch of people in Congress and in a Republican Party to actually get us there. That's the order we need to go in. And so for everybody out there who's asking the question of what's the plan to get a new speaker, you're asking the wrong question. What's the plan to actually revive this country? What's the plan to shut down the unconstitutional administrative state? What's the plan to grow this economy? What's the plan to avoid World War III by funding wars we shouldn't be funding? What's the plan to declare independence from China? What's the plan to revive national pride in this country and our missing national identity, and to seal our border, and to revive meritocracy, and to actually pursue excellence in this country again? Yeah, that's the plan I want to hear about. And then we can talk about who's going to be the shepherd of actually being the assembly line mover in the House of Representatives to get that moving forward. So I guess you might have guessed my view by now. You know what? Once in a while, a little chaos isn't such a bad thing. Just ask our founding fathers. That's what this country's founded on, and I'm not going to apologize for it.